Hello everyone, my name is George and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to go over how to grade assignments in Google Classroom. If you haven't seen our last videos, we went over how to set up our Google account, how to set up Google Classroom, how to grade questions, how to post questions and assignments. And in this video, we're going to continue our current theme of answering and responding to students in Google Classroom. So when you log into your Google Classroom, I went ahead and made the screen bigger for everybody here. We have our stream, of course, and we have our classwork here on the right. After a student has completed their work, you will get an email notification if you subscribe to it, and if you did not, it'll come up automatically. You can unsubscribe whenever you want. You'll see here we made an assignment Unit 1 practice. You can click your assignment here, whatever you labeled it, and you can click View Assignment here at the bottom and start viewing your students' work. Again, you can see the students that turned in the assignment. Turned in means students submitted it to you. It doesn't mean that they completed the work. It just means they submitted the turned in button. Assign means the students that have not completed the work here. And then Unit 1 practice, this was our Google Doc that we uploaded for the students to have a copy each of them to have a copy. So click our View Assignment here, and you'll see the students that completed your work. Now, since we made a copy for each student, you can see here that this student, which is me, another one of my names, has their work completed here. And just the same with our question, all of this is saved in our Google Drive. Every time you make an assignment, and a copy for each student's work is automatically saved in your Google Classroom Drive folder automatically. So if you want to access students' work, a student's work from previous assignments or from previous classrooms, you will always have it saved in your Google Drive unless you delete it. So we have our first student's work here. You can click their name directly and you can see their work. I've given them a 1 out of 1, but remember in our previous video, I just typed 1 out of 1 and that was a draft, and it was not returned to the student, so I'm going to change that back to a 0 by typing 0 and just clicking away, and it'll automatically save as a draft. Every time something's saved as a draft, it'll come up as green. All right, so let's take a look at the student's assignment here. You click their name, and their assignment will come up in your Google Classroom here. So you can see here, I gave them a Google Doc to submit their work. I'm going to go ahead and X out all of these features here since I will be explaining it for you. Their work will come up here, and you'll see the format of Google Docs. On the right side, you will see when the student submitted the work. In here, it was turned in on December 22nd at 1:08 p.m. You also see the history of the assignment for that student, when you might have submitted a draft grade, when you might have changed the grade. So in this case, it was graded and then I changed the grade. But for you, perhaps nothing would come up here. You have an area to put their official grade here, which is the same area as we just saw a moment ago. And you have an area to add private comments. Here is a student's work. If you wanted to view their work on the entire screen and not in this little window here, you can click this open in a new window, and their entire work will come up here. If you can, I recommend avoiding that, since it will increase the amount of time that you will have to grade the student's work. And of course, we want to try to be efficient. In some cases, it might be useful. On the top here, you're going to see your entire class. Now, we only have one student in this class, so if you click the drop-down bar, you only see one student's name here. But if you have a lot of students in your class, you will see a lot of students listed below, and you can grade them accordingly from their first or last name or their status being if they submitted the work or not. And you also have a select previous student or select the next student. If you have a list of students, you can just easily go from one work to the next here. So obviously my question was quite simple. How are you doing today? I'm doing all right. And you can see the student has a grammar error here. The first thing I want you to familiarize yourself with Google Documents is we have 3 ways that we can view a student's document. We can edit the document directly. So if we click the edit button here, that means you are actually writing within their document. If you click this drop-down feature again and click suggesting, this means you are now modifying their document, but it's not permanent. You haven't actually changed it. It just gives you a recommendation. So in this case, it will be highlighted as green, and the student will see your edit here on the right side. And we'll come back to that in just a moment. And you can also click View Only. This is if you want to print or just read the final document. You can click File, and if you need to print, you can click File and Print down here, and you can view it any way you'd like. Let's go to the suggesting mode, which is probably the mode you'll be using when you edit, when you give feedback or comments to someone's work. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fix their grammar problem here. Now, just like other software, you can right click and you can see some considered changes. In this case, we are missing an apostrophe, so if you click that, it'll automatically change it. And you can see here after you change it, a little comment here will come up on the right side, and it will see here, the student will see that you replaced I'm doing with no apostrophe to I am doing, I'm doing with an apostrophe. And the student can reply to your comment here. For example, they might say, what does this mean? Or you might add a reference here. Let's say you want to add a link. Please go to this website, and you can copy a link to the website and said, read more about this there. Read more about grammar here, and then you might be able to post a link, and you can reply to your own comment here, and it'll give you a timestamp. Again, with our three dots on the right side, you can edit or you can delete. And there's one other feature, it's called Add to the Comment Bank. So let's say there are a lot of students that might be getting, I'm going to delete this just for now. Let's say there are a lot of students that are having grammar problems and you want to reference them to use a certain grammar website, or perhaps the dictionary or anything at all. You might want to say, please click this link to read more about grammar. And you can add your link here and after the ... Let's say you want to use this again and again and again and again. Instead of copying and pasting again and again, what you can do is after you reply, you can click the three dots on the right side and you can add it to a comment bank. So let's go ahead and do that. It'll ask you if you really want to do that, and you click Add. So once you add that to a comment bank, you'll see here on the right side, this little message box with a bookmark check, you'll have a comment bank. So if you click that, you will see all of the, let's go ahead and skip this feature here. You'll see all of the comments that you have here. So in the future, if you have another part of a student's work that you want to see, or that you want to comment to, let's say you want to comment again, all you do is click this, and then you can either just click the comment bank, copy, and paste directly, or all you can do is actually continue to type the same comment and it'll automatically come here in your history. So you don't need to retype the entire one directly. And you can also add things to your comment bank. For example, if you want to tell students nice work repeatedly, you can type it by clicking the plus sign here and then click Add. You can do this as many times as you want by clicking Add to the bank. And if you have a lot of comments, you can use the search feature here and you can find your work. For example, you want to find nice work, you type it in, and it works just like Google does. And let's say you don't want to use this anymore, you can delete it and you can edit your comment bank here. But for the purposes of this work, all I'm going to do here is I'm going to fix their grammar mistake, and I want the student to take a look at that. So you can see here, you can switch between your grading and your comment bank, and your grading and your comment bank anytime that you'd like. So the student answered the question here, and I edited it, and the edit comes up on the right. Let's say I want to make a comment on the student's work. You highlight where you want to make a comment. And in this case, since I'm zoomed in, you can click the three dots here on the right side, and you can change the settings, you can change the format, you can edit their work however you need, Or you can click the Add a Comment feature here, and you can type a comment. You can say, "Great work with this assignment." Once you type, you can click comment, and your comment will come up on the right. And now your edit and your comment will come up on the right side, and it'll be timestamped, and it'll say who wrote it. Once the student views this, and we'll go over the student view in our later videos, they can click the check, and that will mark as resolved, and it'll automatically change their work. So let's say the student made a grammar mistake here, and you want the student to update this file and give you a new version with the edits. You can tell them to do that, and if they just click the check mark here, it is now changed automatically. And they can click the check mark here showing that acknowledging that they have read your comment, and it'll change their, in this case, their grammar mistake. You can also highlight and click the little plus sign here to add a comment to your students' work as well. So their comments are a really good feature in order to grade the students' work and provide them with feedback. But let's go ahead and press the back button here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it as it was, so the way that I would normally have for a student here. Correct this, maybe add a comment down here. Remember, in suggestion mode, your comments will appear in green. Nice work. And you can go to the right side here, give them their grade, enter 1, and you can see up here it's automatically saving in Google, and you can say nice work. So now everything is ready to go, and you need to take a look if you want the students to, the student in this case, to see all the work that you have, all the feedback you've given them. So you click nice work, you can click post. This is a private comment between you and the student. Now the student can see your private comment here on the right side, timestamped at the time in which you did it. You see the comments within the work over here, and you see the grammar mistakes as well. If a student perhaps is not checking your comments over the course of several assignments, again, you can click the @ and you can tag them here, and you can mention them in order for them to get a notification saying that you would like for them to do their work. Once you have done commenting, providing feedback, and grading the student's work, you can go to the next student by clicking this up sign here or clicking the next button. And once you're done with all the students' work, you can either click return here, and you can choose the drop-down menu and click return this submission or return multiple submissions. You can do it this way. Or you can go back to your section in which the student's work was submitted. It'll automatically update the feedback and the grade that you gave them, and you can return the work here as well. So you can return the work here, and I'm going to go ahead and X this out. Remember, everything is automatically saved. Or you can return the work here, or the third option is to go back to your class, go to your grade section here, now that everything is saved, and you can choose to return the work here. So there are 3 different areas that you can do it. So in this case, let's see if we can return the work here. We click the right dots, the 3 dots on the right, and we click return all. And it asks again, do you want to return the work? And you might give a private comment. It might say, nice work, everyone, for actually doing your work in class. Who knows? And you can click return. Again, as we showed in our previous video, when we returned our question mark, in this case, this was ungraded, our question over here, so it just comes up as a check. And on this side, you can see it comes up as gray, which means it has been returned and it has been submitted. If it's a draft, it'll come up as green. If the student didn't submit it, or if their work was not submitted on time, it'll come up as red, which is late or unsubmitted. And here you can take a look at the average of the class. So this is the class average. In this case, we only have 1 student, so the class average is only 1. So in this video, we went over how to grade assignments, and it's a kind of a complicated process, but once you get the hang of it, it ends up saving you a lot of time because you can click the easy feature of going to classwork, going to your, in this case, Unit 1 practice grade, viewing the assignment, clicking the student's assignment, and you can easily grade the student's assignment uh, by the drop-down menu here or the right menu here as well. One important thing to realize here is that if you do have a comment here that you did not submit, you need to make sure you submit it before you go to the next student's work, or else it will not save. And remember, we have our comment bank here where we can add comments to maximize, to be more efficient in our grading time. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching this video. In our next video, we're going to go over how to use advanced features within Google Classroom. I hope to see everybody there, and if you like this video, please hit subscribe and the like button. Have a wonderful day, and see you next time. Take care.